Okay, I want to get this down before I forget. Basically, I've come to realize I think I'm going to have to just totally redo my original design because now with this Web3 mock with webhooks paradigm, yeah, I got to rethink it because I no longer have like centralized servers per se, of which within the core I was going to be running my worlds and having my little beings doing their genetic algorithm thing. But instead, uh, I think I'm going to have to embed it in the smart agents themselves. And what that means is, oh, by the way, it's May 20th, 2024, around 4 a.m., I think. I've been up since 2. But the birds outside are just doing wonderful songs. I may go out and listen to them again for a while. So anyhow, Web3 paradigms, and what does that mean for my original design when you're cloud native, which kind of implies that you're scattered. Again, we'll go over it. The M in Mach is microservices, so that means that these smart contracts, these smart agents, should be kept terse and to the point, and they only do a little bit, which means you're going to have a society of mind, to use Marvin Minsky's term, a society of agents. You no longer have a single computing machine. Now everything's decentralized and distributed. And how is that done? So anyhow, smart agents and genetic algorithms. So we'll have to embed within the object that is a smart agent some genetic information. And there'll need to be some genetically driven activities for the smart agents to do, which means that for a zero knowledge virtual machine, um, we're talking, uh, well, we're talking much bigger. I think I was thinking of an initial carrying capacity for a GTM world being around 10,000 beings or agents. So that part of the design we probably shouldn't let go. Again, a swarm of agents. I like to think of swarms of agents. Um, and might actually be easier when we're actually active in metaverses because we could probably give them a body within. Oh, sure, yeah, why not? The thing about virtual reality is it's often tries to cue us or make us comfortable by having an analog or a, I don't want to say metaphor, archetype, I don't know, having it in a metaverse, which, okay, I was talking about virtual reality, yeah. It doesn't have to be uh, someplace that we're familiar with. It could be whatever it is. The virtual part, of course, means virtualization, which more is becoming a reality rather than just a word. Um, but the reality part has to do, the key to virtual reality is called the suspension of disbelief. The VR, if you're using a VR and you find yourself into it and, believing in it. That is to say, yeah. If you compare it to the real world, um, it isn't anything like it. It's virtual. So, virtual reality, to have a virtual reality, well, suspension of disbelief, but um, there needs to be some kind of like physics, pseudo physics laws, right? And consistent behavior. Uh, that's what makes a virtual world or a virtual reality world. So, anyhow, back to the smart agents, because this is big. This is really big, and it's got to be cracked. So, whereas I would have had 10,000 agents running on a particular server that's hosting a world, now, well, it's decentralized, distributed, and I think there's huge potential for keep an eye out for uh, opportunities to go parallel. I want to start. I think JavaScript is multi-threaded. I want to play with that some. I need my Web3 development team. Um, we need to get on this stuff because it's the money involved in a business plan like this is unlimited. For the next 50, 100 years, it would be unlimited. So probably could be bigger than anything we know of so far. I know, but we're going from billions into trillions. And what do I always say? 100 trillion butterflies can't be wrong. It's a quantum chaos thing. So I keep wanting to think though in having like a boilerplate generic smart agent that gets us up and running. And then, well, originally the idea would be experience would modify it. But if we had a boilerplate, think like well, I don't know, what is it, with a car or whatever, a frame, I think. Think of like our framework. Um, and again, I intend to, if I ever get to that, implementing the native cloud OS. I don't know if this is getting through to you, if you're listening. Is anybody out there? Um, I call it the grand machine. I call it anything. The native cloud, the grand machine. Again, no longer are we talking about like a server running like my world software and then you expose that to the internet and my previous designs had many servers, but they'd be running autonomously to the most part and yeah, sending updates back and forth. But I was foreseeing the being agents being able to immigrate or emigrate, immigrate, the leaving, the leaving of the planet and going to another planet. And I was actually, yeah, as a paradigm, I was going to use Steve Jackson's GURPS Traveler because I used to have Traveler and I liked that, and I done stuff with GURPS and I liked that. Um, but that's what I was envisioning. But this is wholly other. Totally new paradigms, 21st century paradigms, I tell you. Um, Yeah, the machine, your machine is going to be a swarm of agents, going to be a scattering of agents, is what's coming down the line. 10 minutes, I'm going to bounce.